Well, my name is Fritz van der Wal. I work for the Netherlands Ministry of Foreign Affairs, specifically for the Minister for Foreign Trade and Development Cooperation. And I'm working in the Food and Nutrition Security team, where I'm the focal point on land governance. Not only in that team, but let's say within the whole ministry. We picked up the issue of land, I think in 2002, 2003, quite actively when lots of our embassies in various countries identified the issue, or the importance of the issue of land tenure security. And we said in The Hague we should try to generate more knowledge on that topic in order to contribute real things. So we started to work with the International Land Coalition, with a couple of Dutch organizations like Cadastre, ITC, some NGOs, and then in 2013, after the VGGT were endorsed, we were of the opinion that GLTN could be a catalytic network in order to boost the application of some of the VGGT principles in those environments where the actors on the ground wanted to work on that. GLTN has really stepped into, I think, some gaps in methodologies or tools or approaches which could be picked up by a mandated secretariat which was serving a wide range of partners. That's a unique situation for secretariats of networks. They could bring parties together more easily than, let's say, one partner would call others in. So that has been quite successful, especially in the last phase, or everything around this land indicator initiative. I mean, has proven that as long as you facilitate, as long as you prepare and bring the right partners around the table, you can really make big steps which could not be taken by individual organizations. Well, I mentioned the GLI. I think that work has been very unique. And also the fact that it was not an activity limited to GLTN partners, but also others who had an interest in investing in the whole process of identification of relevant indicators, but also making all kinds of contacts. Also non-GLTN partners were part of that, and I think that's a very strong basis of playing that added value which such a network can play. It's very important that at this moment we all the partners together are really realistic. Get the right focus there. We have gone into 2 phases, have learned a lot. In my view, we should really be very honest on where the focus should be. Phase 1 was on tool development, phase 2 was continuation of tool development, but also seeing if we could have an added value in countries. Well, this is the moment to say, well, in this changing world, is GLTN still a network which should focus on in-country kind of implementation, or whether we should focus and go back to the tool development and also identify what are areas where methodologies are lacking, because that is evolving, and that's not something given over time. And then, of course, motivate and strengthen the partners of the network in order to pick up those pools, but not in terms of projects which are going to which are implemented at this moment in a number of countries, but much more as support to ongoing processes in those countries. So I mean, when I look to the presentations of many of those country programs we saw yesterday, I sometimes miss the relation between those activities and let's say the dynamics in the country, and of course, if you want to be catalytic, they should be closely linked. So yeah, we should be honest to all ourselves. Is that a commitment we want to show and have for the coming couple of years, or that we leave that to the partners and that the GLTN Secretariat is there purely to bring partners together to invest in innovation and support partners in order to become more clever, more efficient, more effective in what they are already doing in those countries by using GLTN products. Maybe one thing I mentioned yesterday, and I think that is a bit maybe out of the perspective of a donor, but so far, well, very few partners, and then they sometimes are called donors or partners. I mean, are let's say, providing the funds, and in my view, a network is not only vibrant, what we see here and when we all come together and we exchange and whatever, but it also should be shown in one way or the other that all these organizations make an investment in the network and in the overall costs. I mean, like sometimes I compare it with a farmers cooperative. If farmers come together, they can better negotiate or bargain for prices, or they can influence policies or whatever. But yeah, they have to pay fees. They have to put a lot of energy in it, etc., etc. So to make that energy and those investments by all partners visible, and therefore not only regarding the financial figures which are provided by donors, but more that kind of matching or joint investments, also in the spirit of the SDGs, I think would be really a very clever step forward, because donors are far more easy to convince to contribute to something where there is a basic investment of the ones who come forward with a request for co-sponsoring, then there is only a plan without any investments from the ones who come forward with that plan. And I think that is something I really hope that this meeting is important to agree on the strategy and on at least a vision, where do we want to go. Also, I think it's important to say what is GLTN not willing or not going to do, because we have to be focused.